Commissioner Gordon?
He's at home. I sent the signal.
What's wrong?
Last night at the bank, I noticed something about Two-Face. His coin. It's his Achilles heel. It can be exploited.
I know. You called me here for this. The bat signal is not a beeper.
Well, I wish I could say that my interest in you was purely professional.
You're trying to get under my cape, Doctor?
A girl can't live by psychoses alone.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
Do you expect me to talk?
And welcome to episode 79. How did we get to 79? Anyway,
we did 78
shows. 79? That can't be right. We're inching nearer to 100. Oh my god.
I wonder what that film will be when we do get to 100. It better be something mildly disappointing.
It's something in the Tarantino series.
It'll be Tarantino, I imagine, wouldn't it?
It is, because we've got... Hang on a minute. Let's think. We're on 78. We've got 3 Batman films to go. That'll take us through to what, 81? Oh no, 4. Sorry, so it's 82. We've got the music episode. We've got about 8 Star Wars films. I think then we go on to Tarantino with Bond. It'll be something very near the end of the Tarantino series.
Of course, it probably will be something disappointing then.
Unless we do like a very special episode of Do You Expect Us to Talk, where we just play our best bits, or we reminisce.
Remember the day, guys? Remember the time we talked about Lionel Richie? You know.
Did you hear Ted Danson fell off his chair?
He was Edward
Remember
Snowden.
that, folks?
The time when Chris couldn't pronounce that man's name.
What, David Schneider?
Yeah. Strangest...
like Poisenheimer.
Max van Snowdown.
Snowdown.
That's no doubt. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're on episode 78, Becca.
78 was last week.
79, sorry, whatever it was you just said.
Yeah, it is 79. So in case you missed all that, yes, this is episode 79 of Do You Expect Us to Talk? I'm your host, Becca, and joining me are Chris Byrne and Dave Bond. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm
good, good evening, folks.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Are you feeling forever? That sounds a bit rude. Anyway, tonight we are discussing Batman Forever, which I think is probably like the worst title in the whole Batman series. But there we are.
It is funny because I do remember reading the trivia that Tim Burton hated all these titles, like Batman Forever. It just sounds like
he
really
said it
dumb.
was something you put on a tattoo. He said,
"Yeah, when you're having a bad
Which
night out."
actually, he's worked a lot with Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp got one saying Winona Forever, didn't he? When he was directing.
I think that's maybe what he's referencing.
It might well be. It is a shit title.
You think this would have been called Batman and Robin because it is largely about Robin?
Yeah, you introduced Robin.
Yeah.
But no, we'll save that for the next time.
Yeah, where it doesn't actually mean that much.
No, this is where we do descend into true comic book mentality. Anyway, in this movie we have Val Kilmer, Chris O'Donnell, Tommy Lee Jones, Nicole Kidman, Jim Carrey, Drew Barrymore, and Jon Favreau, if you can spot him. With a score by Elliot Goldenthal, script by Juliet Scott Batchelor, Lee Batchelor, and Akiva Goldsman. We have to discuss this at some point. We must discuss. And directed by Joel Schumacher and released in 1995.
I think Dave just had an orgasm at the thought of Akiva Goldsman.
Was that a comedian or Bondian grunt?
Yeah, it was a grunt. I don't like this guy's work generally, but go on.
We've done some amazing films.
Winter's Tale's amazing.
A Beautiful Mind. Come on.
Beautiful Mind's not very good.
I've not seen Beautiful Mind, but apparently that won an Oscar.
It's not very good.
No. I think it's quite good. I enjoyed it. But enjoyment and rating it is two different things.
Enjoy whatever you like, but I don't think it was an Oscar-worthy piece of work.
Gosman, let's have a look.
Yeah, he's done a lot of not very impressive stuff.
No. and I'm sure we'll get to it. So anyway, what are our overall thoughts going into Batman Forever?
Well, I think we'll let the ladies go first. Becca, what do you think?
Thank you. Token lady. I probably can't say that these days, never mind.
What? I'm a lady?
It's gone a bit fallen out of vogue. I remember seeing this one at the cinema. I think, even though it came out probably the same year, maybe or around the same sort of time as GoldenEye. I was a year older, so
Good few months before GoldenEye.
yeah, I went with family, so it was alright. And I don't know, I sort of thought, oh yeah, it was quite good. And then obviously watching it again for this, thinking, oh my life, what the hell.
Yeah, it was at the weird time when like movies were just movies, where it wasn't actually
Yeah,
bad
it was
or good. It was just like, well, it was
No.
all good. It was just like, yeah, you saw Batman for like 2 hours. That was fine. That was all you needed.
No, I just need a bit of escape as well. And I would kind of argue that, though I just kind of mean, I would say there's probably a point, the late 90s through to like really early 2000s, that audiences got a whole lot smarter. And I'm not just kind of like tarring everybody with the same brush and saying you're all a bunch of idiots. There's a kind of bit before that point.
You are, though.
But I am. Though. I was one of them.
Balance.
But yeah, it's just, you can go in, watch 2 hours of this, and think, yeah, it'll be fine. You know, probably like 2 or 3 stars from Empire. I have to find out, or or similar, whatever the film review doyen was of the day. But yeah, I think it's very much like Two-Face, like Harvey Dent. It's a film of two halves, I think. Probably up until the first, I don't know, like 40 minutes, I think, and then from there on in, it just is a real slide into, what the hell were you thinking, Schumacher? But no, I love Tommy Lee Jones. He thinks he's in like a completely different film. I think 90% of his dialogue is just him maniacally cackling away. Jim Carrey, I love Jim Carrey. I just think he's so funny. I watch him in anything. And here he's just gurning his face off. I think it's fantastic. And he's borrowed his costumes from like Sia and Lady Gaga before they were even born. No, I think it's kind of, up until from like the 40-minute mark, I found it hugely enjoyable. And the rest of it, I just watched through my fingers, cringing every single moment. I was like, I can't watch. So yeah, that's my thoughts of it. I would give it like 2 out of 5 or something, I think.
Well, that's actually a standard rating. I'm impressed, Becca.
That's quite generous.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it at the cinema too. Really excited for this film, as you know, you imagine it's like, yeah, new Batman, and at the time I enjoyed it just as much as the others. Watching it back now, because I've not seen it for a while, I'm kind of in two minds about it. I mean, first things first, yes, it is a crap film. There's no getting around it. The dialogue is crap. The performances are either are largely wooden, apart from 2 which are just so hammy and over the top. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. They're just like, I'm the villain, so we're just gonna sort of like ham everything up to 11.
Ham it all up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's only one good performance in the film, and that is from Michael Goff, Alfred. He's the only heart and soul of the film that actually saves this performance-wise. But yeah, he's the only decent performance in the entire film.
Well, I guess at this moment he's the only constant, isn't he? Pretty much.
Yeah, but to be fair to this film, it does give him something to do. When you think back to the Tim Burton films, and I know we would probably, and I suppose everyone else would prefer the Tim Burton films, and I go back to what I said last week. Batman had no challenges in Batman Returns. There was he was literally just like turned up and dealt with it. Here there is, I can actually see a story here. For all Batman Forever's faults, there is an actual story, and if it was just like a straight up comic book, that was just, if you transfer the film into like a comic panel, it would probably work effectively well. The story is kind of well rounded. I mean, the only thing that sort of hampers it is the fact that you add the Riddler, and it just like, it becomes the Jim Carrey show, and then the stuff about Two-Face, which actually fits into what's going on in the film in terms of like what the story is supposed to be about, kind of just disappears, because Two-Face is portrayed as just like, I'm just crazy, and there's nothing really sort of elements to like the two sides of the two characters that makes Two-Face. There's no sort of cohesive tissue that makes it kind of work. It's just like Tommy Lee Jones just sort of laughing and cackling and just being like, I'm just gonna be crazy villain number 2.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah. On that level it works, but by and large, in terms of like how it deals with Robin, how that affects to Batman and what he's going through, and you have Two-Face as a villain who should be, in my view, should be the only villain in this film. I don't think you need Riddler in this. I think you need to save Riddler for another film to make that work about to fit that into another Batman story. It kind of just like ruins the sort of like the detriment of the film. It just ruins the film really. For those things aside, this actually does it ticks a lot of the boxes narrative wise. The problem is it's just done almost semi like comedic, campy, and the problem is everyone's just comes across so. I don't know what really happened here because I don't think Val Kilmer and even like Chris O'Donnell are actually that bad, but just they've been given dialogue and maybe possibly, I don't know, maybe it's just like a bad atmosphere on the set 'cause you hear things like, Schumacher didn't like Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey didn't get along. There was just like, I don't know, there was just like
nobody got along really.
maybe there was just big studio interference that just fucked everything up. But everyone just comes across as just really sort of like just no emotion whatsoever. It just comes across as so bland, and everyone's just like a plank of wood. So it in many ways, I'm a little bit conflicted, but by when I examine it as a story. However, I've got to say I was never once bored by it. So take that for what it's worth.
There's a lot going on, isn't it? It's a very busy film. There's literally non-stop action from the word go.
There's tons of action in it. There's action scenes that don't need to exist. I mean, apparently I've read there was like apparently it was like re-edited. So like I think there was a scene in terms of where the bit at the circus was actually meant to be like at the front of the film really, rather than like 40 odd minutes in. Because there was like meant to be like, Two-Face just broken out kind of thing.
Cram an extra action scene in there.
Yeah, so I think they filmed loads of stuff and then like re-edited it around. But it does come across as very sort of like choppy and edgy. So those are my thoughts going in. Dave, what are your feelings?
I was really looking forward to it genuinely because I still think Batman Returns is a better film, by the way. But as I said last week, I didn't have one of my better viewings of Batman Returns, and I was ready for a change. So the idea of like a soft reboot would be fine. And there were some things about this film I'd always liked. So I thought, well, I'm kind of looking forward to this. There were bits of it I certainly wasn't.
Jim Carrey.
Well, I'll get to that, yeah. Because that's basically the sum of it. But yeah. But this is a $100 million film. Now, for 1995, that's significant. And yet, it looks plasticky and garish and cheap and nasty. It is the council estate fucking, film.
It hasn't dated well.
It really hasn't. It's like I drive through some shitty part of my town around Christmas, and they put up these garish Christmas decorations, and you go, Christ almighty, I don't mind that you're poor, but fucking hell do you have to advertise it with such shit taste? And this film is like a feature-length version of it. It never know where to stop. The one thing I'm going to say in its defense is that in recent years it's been very frequently linked to the film that follows, because they look kind of similar, and they do. There's no doubt that they look like they're by the same director, and obviously Wayne Manor is the same, and so on. It's very easy to look at it and say, well, lump them together. There is no comparison between this film and the next film in quality. There isn't, and I'll go into that a little bit more next week. I'm kind of with you, Chris. Most people are crap in this. I mean, Nicole Kidman does very well, but the character is ill-conceived, and we'll go through that as we go through it.
I'm not sure Nicole Kidman does even very well. I mean, I struggle to think of a Nicole Kidman performance I actually generally think it was great.
Okay, well, we'll get to that as we go through it, but I certainly... She's not really one of my problems as a performance with this, that's all I'm saying, whereas I look at the rest of them and I think, well, Robin's a miscast, we'll get to why, but he does fairly well. Val Kilmer looks extraordinarily bored. Funny thing is, he's the one Batman where the cowl they designed for him just makes him look like him. So if I lived in Gotham and this was real and I saw Batman, I'd go, oh look, Bruce Wayne. Because it just
it's really difficult to separate the two. It just kind of it's
just so shaped to the shape of his face that it looks like Val Kilmer. But
he's got amazing cheekbones. You need to accentuate them.
It's the cheekbones and the nose.
I suppose it doesn't matter in movie land because we, the audience, already know this.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it was something I noted. Jim Carrey. Well, I'm never going to have an open mind because I don't like him. It's as simple as that. But I went into not what is it really breaking news that this guy is divisive? I mean, is it really so shocking that some people like this bell end? I mean, I went into it tonight thinking, well, no, just watch it and see how you go. And I've liked him as a straight actor. When I say I've liked him as a straight actor, actually, when I look at something like Eternal Sunshine, it's not that he's great in it particularly. It's that he's inoffensive in it, and that's actually all I really want from him. I've never found his shtick entertaining. The first time I saw him, I thought, God, he's irritating. And then fucking suddenly, he was like the biggest star in the world for a couple of years. Basically, between The Mask or Ace Ventura and The Cable Guy, he was the biggest star in the world. Thereafter, not so much.
Cable Guy was terrible. Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's what broke the chain, you know?
Yeah, it really
but
did.
Before that, he was the biggest thing in the world for a couple of years. And I've never understood why. Because I will go this far. This guy has no fucking talent whatsoever. And I mean zero. Pulling a fucking face in and of itself and throwing your arms around is not talent. It just isn't. This guy has nothing. He really doesn't. And I've just watched him in this film thinking, well, like, I'll take it on its level. Perhaps it's aimed at kids. And he irritated me for the first second he was on screen. Now, I didn't like Two-Face in it very much. I didn't really like Tommy Lee Jones in it very much. But he committed to what they decided to do with that character. What they decided to do with that character was utterly wrong. But I kind of accept it for what it is. But I look at Jim Carrey, and he kills the film stone dead. At the moment he's on screen, I'm struggling. And I was trying so hard not to be, I don't like Jim Carrey. I was trying so hard to just go, well, I accept it for what it is. He's the Riddler in this film. But everything is so overplayed and so overmannered. I mean, his body and his facial contortions and his voice are just doing too much in every scene by such a long distance. The worst scene is actually his first. The scene where he, it takes his boss's memories and, all that kind of shit and pushes him out the window. It's unbearable. The only scene in the film that's as bad is when he's in the Batcave. It's just too much.
No, I think everything that he's become known for is literally encapsulated in this film, and it's turned up to 11. And to be fair, I am a fan of him for sure, but I think here I did find it a little bit difficult to watch.
Yeah, I mean, if you
switch
off what you think of the guy, I mean, I don't like him, and I'll admit that, but I kind of liked the first Ace Ventura well enough, and I kind of liked the first Mask well enough. Nothing else, literally.
Not even Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, no, sorry. Dumb and Dumber is the one film I think is really good. He's not offensive in that. I think all his
like Liar Liar or Truman Show.
Liar Liar is a little bit,
yeah. But the Truman Show is not
more
a fair
straight films.
example. Exactly. I mean, it's just that's not Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Big Ass 2? He was in that for a little bit.
Which one, sorry?
Big Ass 2. It wasn't not very memorable. But
Yeah, I mean, there haven't been many things I've liked him in, but
Bruce Almighty, I thought that was quite a funny film.
no, I hated Bruce Almighty.
What?
There's a bit in the street where he's in his car and he says, you know, he parts the crowd in front of him with whatever he says in the car. And I saw him pull up in his car and I thought, we're about to get some Jim Carrey shtick. And we did.
What? I got the power. That one. That bit.
Whatever it fucking was, he said.
He gets a bowl of soup and literally it's like parting the Red Sea. And that's what it is.
Yeah, he's just not my thing. And when I was a kid, my father really hated Steve Martin, who I've always thought was really, really talented. And I think that the way I must have looked at my father over that attitude must be the way Jim Carrey fans look at me. In that I don't get it. I do not get it. I really don't. He was funny in Dumb and Dumber. He was, because the completely over the top, no relation to reality shtick works in that film.
But he isn't as
gurning
in it.
Restrained.
It's a little bit more.
This film is so over the top. I mean, you say dialed up to 11, it's dialed up to 23.
Yeah.
11's stupid.
It's just so over the top every single scene, and I just think, cut down the affectations just a little bit. We know you're being hired to be Jim Carrey, and I would have happily accepted it on that level if it wasn't just so turned up that I'm just itching every time he's on the screen. I'm struggling with it. And Two-Face is not good in this. Tommy Lee Jones is not good in this. But I'm more forgiving of it because he's committed to a choice. I think it's the wrong choice. But yeah, it's not very good. I think the film looks very cheap for $100 million. I think the story would have had potential with a different director, because it's all about Bruce almost struggling with recovered memories.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
I wish they had used more of that theme rather than just, you know, Two-Face and Riddler. I think if they'd used more of the memories kind of theme of it, it would have been a much better film and elevated it just that little bit higher.
Well, the problem is you have Riddler, and like you think, well, what does Riddler play in this story? And it doesn't. It's just kind of like an added element, and of course, because it's Jim Carrey, it becomes the Jim Carrey show, and he is.
Yeah, it is pretty much.
And because he's overreacting.
Actually, you've hit on it there, Chris. My problem with Jim Carrey in general is neither here nor there, but my problem with him in Bruce Almighty as an example. Now, Bruce Almighty is way better than Evan Almighty. Its sequel. It's not all bad, but it's that nothing ever serves the character or the story or the situation. It's all a series of skits from Jim Carrey, most of which don't have a point other than he just turns on whatever ticks he's decided to do for that character. And it's a real problem in this film. I struggle with him every single time he's on screen, almost bar none. There's one or two, and we'll get to them, and I will try to remember to say, actually, I didn't have a problem with him in this scene. But actually, I think there might only be one. The film is a bit of a mess. I've got to remind myself not to link it to next week. It is streets ahead of Batman and Robin. It's the most divisive film we'll cover in this series, even more than last week, in that a lot of people really love this. But I've got to remember it's the same year as Goldeneye, and a lot of people love Goldeneye as well. And I do think it's better than Goldeneye. Goldeneye is way better, but way better. Different universe of standard. But I do think that like they fall within a similar time frame, so people's nostalgia's kicking in on both of them. For me, I never had that. I didn't see it on first release, and I can't remember why. But about 7 or 8 months later, no, it wouldn't have been that. I didn't have an opinion on him at that stage. But for whatever reason, I didn't. And then I went away to university, and like 3 or 4 months after I'd got there, so probably about 8 months after the film's release, the Guild, which was Liverpool University's name for the union, put it on as like their weekly cinema thing. Now, during the time I was there, they started putting it on in the theatre that they've got there, the Stanley Theatre, I think it's called. And that makes more sense because the acoustics are fine. But when I went to see this, I went with a lady I was trying to date. We were friends at the time. We did end up dating for a little while. But we went to see Batman Forever at the Mountford Hall, Liverpool University, and the acoustics were so bad we couldn't hear anything. We could hear vague noise, but it was just all a mess. So I ended up watching this kind of like a silent film. So I still didn't have any real opinion. So I ended up seeing it on video about a year after it came out. And like most of these first four, I thought it was all right. And that's kind of all I thought about it. I do think that with a better director, this could have been pretty good, but it's a little bit of a mess, and it's ruined by... I do think of this as stunt casting. I really do. It's like, well, who do we have as the Riddler? And it's like, well, who's big and popular and a bit zany? And they've cast this guy that, I think 20 years on, if you don't have this nostalgia for his peak, you look back at it and just go, well, like, what the fuck was all that about?
Yeah, I do think he was perfect casting for this. Like, on paper as well, like, especially.
Oh, on paper, I didn't have a problem with it. I heard he'd been cast, and I thought, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Though I did hear Robin Williams was, or names always thrown about for the Riddler, and
there's a few interesting casting things with this film. You're right, Chris.
Who were never,
Robin
never
Williams was talked to about this, but I think one of the reasons he turned it down was he was messed around over the whole Joker thing.
Which was
really
interesting, because I remember watching like one of these Saturday morning like TV programs like Live and Kicking, or I think it was actually What's Up Doc or something. But he was actually interviewed, and he said, "Oh, what part would you like to play?" He said, like, it was before this film. He actually said, "Oh, I'd really love to play the Riddler."
Robin Williams would have been better casting. I mean, Robin Williams wasn't that controllable, and he would have done a load of shtick. And there's plenty of Robin Williams. I mean, what happened to him was tragic, but taking emotion out of it, there's plenty of Robin Williams I don't like either. But I very rarely, if ever, found him unwatchable. And I think I would have enjoyed him more in this.
You would have been sort of wittier as well, I think.
Robin Williams and Jim Carrey are kind of like similar kind of things, where they're like the very sort of zany, sort of like fast talking, kind of comedic kind of people. But they're very good at sort of like, I'm going to sort of drop all that and do a serious performance, and they're actually quite impactful.
And they're both
that.
great. They're both
quite good when they do
decent
shoot
actors.
Yeah.
The difference for me is that Robin Williams, and I found, like I say, there's plenty of stuff he irritates me in, but Robin Williams has a better control of his body than Jim Carrey, in that he manages to incorporate stuff and make them feel more natural. In that when he goes off on a riff, it feels like he is just pissing about.
Yeah.
Whereas when I look at Jim Carrey in this film, it's over-mannered. He's gone, well, I'll say this, and I'll do this, and I'll shake my hips. And it's overthought, and I just don't like it.
I must admit, even watching this, though, like, from like the very first few scenes, I kept thinking, what would they be thinking now? I could clearly see why he would hate this. Like, I just kept thinking, and not just Dave, anyone who's not a Jim Carrey fan would really have a problem with this, because it's so over the top. It's like, it's not like, even like now when I'm like being objectional, I'm thinking, you can kind of rein it in just a little bit. You're going a little bit too full whack here. So anyone who is not necessarily a Jim Carrey fan, or who's definitely not a Jim Carrey fan, would really, really struggle with this. I completely see why.
I get why you hire him. On paper, he's pretty good. Some of it is the writing. I mean, let's assume for a minute, and I don't know for certain that it's written, all of it. So I'm going to assume that everything he says is in the script, and it may not be, because I don't want to bash him all the more, but "Surf's Up, Big Kahuna" is a shit line. And it's just, we have to cram as much of this guy in as we can. Joygasm. I mean, really?
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
It means nothing.
It just means I really liked that, to the point that I may had a semi-erotic feeling.
Oh, it's like, but it's just like, you don't have to fill every single moment of dead air. And that's the problem with Jim Carrey in this.
I would kind of argue that I would like, I mean, as much as I do, I I'm sort of a big Jim Carrey fan. I just find like his comedy. I just think that's really, really funny, and that's just my sense of humour. If we ever come to Austin Powers, obviously you'll discover that my sister was also a 5-year-old boy. Sense of humour.
But I love all that.
But no,
love
at the same time,
comedy. He's not very good
at the same time, as much as I do enjoy it, no, that's it. I do kind of feel that we don't see Tommy Lee Jones. To me, he's more kind of known for sort of like but One Armed Man. What's it called?
The Fugitive.
Fugitive, exactly.
He won an Oscar for that.
Yes, he did. Those more kind of straight roles. I know he has done a few sort of comedic roles in that in the past, but he's very much like a straight actor, more playing like cops or sort of policemen or authority roles, or like people kind of beyond the law, kind of almost.
He has played bad guys before, so he villains definitely come from that. But to be in something like I think he's in a completely different film to what I would usually expect him to be in, and I would like to see more of him. I just kind of thought, he's quite, I quite rate him as an actor. But I sort of think I would like to see more of him. You just want to be Lando Calrissian, really, didn't you? You just want to I wonder what Lando Calrissian would have made of this.
Yeah. I think obviously when he took that role on, they thought, okay, well obviously Harvey Dent is going to be Two-Face later on down the line, and then obviously there was a takeover, wasn't there? And they had to basically say, right, okay, Lando Calrissian, you can't be in it, and we've got to get Tommy Lee Jones in. But no, he's not in it as much as I would like him to be. But I'm a bit disappointed that like 90% of his dialogue is just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like.
Literally, I'd like to read the script, and every time he has a line of dialogue, to see what it says.
There's room for a Jim Carrey performance here. It just needed to be reined in, and you got a director who's just. There's no such concept of less is more.
But there's a weird thing because apparently. Schumacher is a big Batman fan, and he wanted to go for a darker tone, but the studio didn't want that. So I kind of got a feeling that he just kind of like bowed to what the studio wanted to a extent. So I don't know whether he was just like under studio constraints or got the brief from the studio and just
we'll talk a little bit more about that
know.
Next week. Certainly, he was hired on the basis of lightening it. And certainly next week, there's more obvious points to make about how he went about doing that. But Batman Returns was, firstly, it did 140 odd million less than the first film. So that was a problem as far as the studio are concerned. But secondly, they did like commercial deals with the likes of McDonald's. So you'd have the Happy Meal, and so on, which is fine. But then parents started complaining that it was entirely inappropriate because the film was just too dark. So I get that the whole point behind this film was a panicking studio saying we've got to aim this way more at children. So I get it, but. I don't. It's a film without a vision, isn't it? Really, it's a film where they've just gone kids, toys, etc.
It feels a lot more like the source material was purely on the '60s TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even more so next week. I tell you what, should we discuss this film sequentially, folks?
Okay, sure. Why not? So we start with like really cheap, horrible opening credits,
which are trying to be
really terrible.
It's like the Superman credits.
Yes.
If you watch them with
in Quest for Peace, yeah.
Yeah, but if you watch them with a plane taken off right by your ear, it's all a bit like calm it down. It's screaming at us, particularly the way they go across the screen.
Yeah, but it doesn't look that good. It does look a bit cheap and a bit too like you just sort of pull that on your Commodore 64 or whatever. Yeah. But, new score. What do we think of the new score?
I like it. What do you guys think?
I think it worked fine.
I like the old one.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the Danny Elfman one. That's more
so
striking.
Do I, but if you're going to change it, this wasn't that offensive. I was quite happy with it.
Yeah.
No, it was, I didn't dislike it. I was kind of pining for the old one. But yeah, I do like Danny Elfman in his scores. But this is okay. It's serviceable.
And so we get to that. We get to Batman Forever, sort of swishing past, and then we have to the first scene where you see Val Kilmer suiting up, and then it's this literally like you think going in first scene in, oh, this is a comedy. This is a comedy. Because like
it looks like a comedy.
Well, the first line of dialogue is like you got Alfred go like, "Would you want to take a sandwich, sir?" It's like,
I'll take a sandwich. I'll get drive-through.
Yeah, and he just
I'll get drive-through.
And it's just like, okay, this is comedy then. This is like you're gonna do a spoof comedic Batman film.
It's like this is the 90s. Drive-through is the new thing. Let's just shove this in as a reference.
We are now at a point where, I mean, when you look at the Nolan films, it's just like a space under the house that's kind of like a cave.
Yeah.
When you look at this, it's all neon lights. It's worse next week, but it's all neon lights and smoke.
He's pumped more money into it.
If I was calling up my car, I've got to have it on a rotating platform with dry ice coming out of it.
Well, obviously Bruce Wayne's a multi-millionaire, billionaire, so he's got too much money, and a lot of it goes on dry ice. I must say, the overall look of this film, it does. Obviously, there's a lot of. I can't pronounce it, sorry about that, like chiaroscuro going along, and also a lot of really odd Dutch shots, like before they were even popular, and some very kind of reverse shot angles, which is a little bit weird. There's not so much very much like God shots, but more kind of, I don't know what I'm going to call devil shots from like underneath.
Yeah, you have like really odd, like sort of like camera angles, like sort of pointing like up or down,
sideways.
Or, yeah.
And just where they make no narrative sense whatsoever, and it's like, oh, okay, very strange. But yeah, there's a lot of obviously interplay with like shadow and light, which I think is quite interesting. Lots of bright colours. It's very trippy. This film has a very trippy texture to me, I think.
I just think it takes a special kind of talent to make this much money look a bit cheap.
It does, yeah.
I can tell they spent a lot of money on it, but everything looks very neon and plasticky, and
I think because it is so bright, because it is so in your face, it does look a lot cheaper, like compared to like Nolan, for example, where it's all very much, again, you've got the light and shadow, but it's done with more kind of respect to like tone, and it's scaled back a lot as well, which kind of makes it's more like prestige, and not to pun, but it's kind of more of an event movie, as it were.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a lot of money being cheap, next scene is Tommy Lee Jones.
He spent 4 hours in makeup for that face,
Yeah, which is really, we're going to get to the scene I've taken the piss out of a bit later on, and it makes no sense.
That's by Rick Baker, I might add. The legend that is Rick Baker.
Well, I don't want to, but I mean, the thing you got to remember, I would never knock them, well, I will knock the makeup in that I don't think it's a great idea, but if he is realising what the director's asked him for, then he's realised it well. It's perfectly competent makeup, it's just not the way I would have wanted to see them go.
No, there's a lot of like purple and blacks and greys and
it looks stupid.
And greens. But no, I have somebody of that stature on this film. Obviously, he's done what's after him, but I just think he's a legend. He could like any sort of top
film,
flight in.
You should be able to get Rick Baker to do
that's
a
it.
Batman film.
But I think that's amazing. But I think any top flight person in their field takes a dive every now and then. But no, it's, I think it's quite cool makeup. You've got the kind of slit down the middle. Pretty cool.
But it looks cheap.
It does look very cheap and nasty, unfortunately.
But it's so painted with broad strokes as well, because it's like, okay, he's in his typical suit, and then in the dark suit, it's all like bright, colourful. His hair's completely
lots of purple, lots of greens.
Yeah, and he's always wearing like, it's like, who's your tailor? How are you getting these
suits?
It's
literally a perfect line, and we get to it when we see in his house later on. That's just mental as an idea, but we'll get there. But he is robbing the second bank of Gotham on the second anniversary.
Yeah.
Of what? I can't remember. Was it his escape or the first time he? What was it? Second anniversary.
His kind of in inverted commas like origin story is kind of literally rushed in. It's like, oh, by the way, he was Harvey Dent, and this is what happened to him.
Yeah, it's shown on TV once, isn't it?
Yeah,
we'll see it in a
bit.
bit.
Quick, this is backstory. That's
it. But basically, he's standing over like a bodyguard doing his flip a coin thing of like saying, "Oh, heads heads you
Would
live.
you feel safe if that guy was your bodyguard?
No. Oh, hell no.
No, I suppose, but he's just like one of like sort of slubby security guards. You know, in a bank, you know, you typically sort of see, and he's doing the sort of like, guess what, you get to live, and you're gonna throw him in the safe and use him as human bait, which doesn't really make sense because he then floods it with acid. So, so
and they have to have the guy yell, "Oh no, it's boiling acid!"
That's why I cringed so
does it
much.
need
I
to
was
be
like,
fucking
really?
boiling?
I don't know, but we're jumping ahead of ourselves here. So
I was like, you don't say.
so also about Batman flies in, meets Gordon and Chase. Chase Meridian, and she's like literally hard on for Batman straight away.
She's very amorous, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if women had penises, it would be fucking like a tent pole, wouldn't it? At this point, she is absolutely fucking wet for him.
Yeah, but I love the fact that like Batman just sort of like just goes in the situation, just sort of glides in, just goes like, "Yeah, I'm here. What do you want?" So, yeah, but yeah, so,
And
first scene, I just thought,
poor Pat Hingle. I mean, Commissioner Gordon.
I know, bless him, sidelined.
I mean,
he's given more scenes in this. To be fair,
yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
didn't it
all
a
of
bit
them were him
longer?
standing around in uniform, looking fucking clueless.
yeah, basically going, what's going on?
Staring up at the sky. What the hell?
Okay. The way Batman makes his entrance looks alright. The way he sort of sweeps towards camera, that looks okay.
And that's Dave's one positive comment for the film.
No, there'll be
Yes.
more.
So Batman fights obviously the henchmen of Two-Face. They're all got these balaclavas with like red and black striped down the centre. Though how someone like Two-Face, like he's portrayed, would ever get someone to work for him, I don't know. But that's what happened, and I guess we do see like a little some sort of fighting work here. I think it's probably a little bit better than Batman Returns.
Yeah, they've got the Batman character moving better. Not from scene to scene. He's still got to turn his whole body, but they do manage to get scenes where there's obviously a double doing various gymnastic kind of moves, which we haven't seen in the first two films. The only thing I will say is that the city, whenever we see outside, it reminds me of Batman the Animated Series. It looks animated. It looks almost drawn.
Yeah, it looks computer game, like they're playing like a 90s computer game. That's what it looks like.
I don't know how it was created, but it doesn't look very good.
No, but it's dated very poorly. What I will say is, like, even from the opening fight scenes, I did notice Batman doesn't necessarily kill in this film.
Well, we do get a scene later where he absolutely does, but we'll get to it.
Oh, which one's that? Is this the end?
Yeah, I mean he does kill Two-Face. There's no
Yeah,
no
I mean
two-face about
that's the only exception to that. But by and large,
I don't know. There might be another. I can't remember.
but
I might remember as we go through. But he does kill Two-Face.
yeah, he does. I think that can be argued that he may have like tricked him to do it himself, or he's like made him seal it. But then you could say that for Batman Return. Batman Begins, can't you? To an extent.
Yeah, I mean it's not that big a deal, but
by and large, he's not just like, I mean, because there's a bit in the fight scene where one henchman like knee falls in the shaft and he grabs him and he pulls him out and then kicks him down again. You know, so it's like he's clearly objectively not actually killing people.
Yeah, because he's trying to teach like Dick Grayson not to.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a shock when he does effectively kill Two-Face, and Grayson does look down after him, and there's an element of Batman has almost broken his own rule there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are jumping right to the end of the film, but you could actually say that
Quick review.
he killed Two-Face, so he didn't have to. so he kind of took the burden.
Yeah.
You could make that argument, but anyway, yeah.
I don't. But I mean, going back to the start, I don't like this action sequence very much. I kind of like the way he makes an entrance, the way he sweeps in. It's very stylized, but I think it looks pretty good. But it seems to go on forever. It's quite a long sequence. That gets even worse next week. The opening action sequence next week is like an absolutely epic length.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Batman and Robin.
Like, did you find any of this pretty tense or not?
Oh no, not tense in the slightest. I mean, to be honest, it was all just visual stuff. I mean, he fights the henchman, he goes in the safe, and then like there's like it's a trap, and then Two-Face sort of flies the safe from a helicopter with filling up with acid, which I'm not sure where this acid is coming from, but it's filling up with acid.
Yeah, he's filled all the special compartments in the safe with it.
So as dumb as it is, I did think back to last week with Batman Returns, thinking Batman's never put in any perilous situations, and I'm thinking, well, this is actually a perilous situation. And he actually has to think about what he would do to get out, and he uses the hearing aid. I'm not sure why that matters, but he uses like the security guard's hearing aid to actually get out of the safe.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, at least, I mean, this is all very, like, stupid. But at least it addressed that issue of last week where, like, Batman just didn't really... was challenged anyway.
Yeah,
Here
I mean,
he's actually...
my memory of watching this is like... or when I watched it properly, was I didn't have a major problem at this point. I've never liked the aesthetic of these two.
Yeah.
I haven't. Way too neon and cheap and plasticky and weird.
I would agree, yeah.
But I didn't have a problem at this point at all. I thought the sequence was okay. I just didn't really love it, and it went on a little bit too long.
Yeah, then it just goes on for more because, like, obviously he gets out the safe, releases the safe, then he has a fight with Two-Face in the helicopter. It goes through a sign. Two-Face shoots at Batman, shooting the pilot, and then it goes into the Statue of Liberty, and like Two-Face jumps off with a parachute, and Batman just jumps out in time. So it's just it is very much like you read that on script, and think, fucking hell, this sounds epic. You see in this, and it's just like
the only problem I have with hindsight is I look back on it, and Two-Face's cackling is now both slightly irritating and woefully inappropriate, and the film is full of that. The villain's laughing at fuck all.
Yeah, I mean I absolutely agree with you. I think Two-Face is completely just sidelined the story by the fact that there's Riddler there, and he just takes over the main story really. But also his portrayal is just how does his character reflect the story? Like, how does it reflect him as a person? He's just a madman. There's no consistency in terms of the whole one side justice and punishment kind of thing.
And there's no split personality. He is permanently a nutcase, but he flips a coin to decide.
Yeah. I mean, but half the time he doesn't even do that. Half the time he's like, oh no, that's not the answer I want. Okay, no, that's not the answer I want. Oh no, that's
it's
not
completely arbitrary. There's no logic to it.
No, there isn't, Becca. Absolutely.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
But had he been the sole villain, there may have been more thought and more detail, and would have explored that a bit more. More
is more at this point.
You would have had a better film had it just been Two-Face, because you would have had Two-Face plus the intro of Robin, and all the other character stuff that Batman was going through in this film, and it would have worked a lot better. But you have Jim Carrey as a Riddler girding shit up. So
we get out of this action sequence. Where do we go from there? Because I think we said quite a lot about that.
Well, pretty much straight. We meet your favourite character, Edward Nigma.
This is his worst scene in the film. I think part of it is I was reminded of it when we got to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Electro. That the character is his alter ego is made up so falsely in that, like, no one looks like that in life.
Yeah,
it's the same with, like, when you look at the Electro, before he becomes Electro, that stupid comb over and everything. No one.
What, Dwayne Dibley?
Yeah, exactly. No one
Dwayne
looks like that.
Dibley. He's a bit Dwayne Dibley, isn't he?
But his whole body movements are wildly over the top. He works for Wayne Enterprises. He's clearly quite a clever guy. But he's developed this thing, which is 3D technology, which is quite funny because we have it today. Well, we've gone through an era of 3D since this. And TVs now are once again being made without 3D because it didn't take off. The idea that like everyone would have like lost their shit over this has been proved actually wrong in the last few years. But yeah, I've got a real problem with this scene. Bruce Wayne is sort of meeting his staff, and he's trying to pitch to him, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly like besotted with him. Like he's obsessed with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So the idea that Eggman is kind of to an extent a smart genius, but he kind of looks up to him, and in a sense that he is like almost like wants to be him. So he's borderline absolute fucking insane. But it's I mean, Jim Carrey is over the top completely, but it's just the logic in it. It's movie wise, because Bruce kind of tolerates him to an extent. He's like, okay, well, manipulating brainwaves, that sounds a bit dodgy, but give me what you got and I'll look in. And he pushes him. It's like, no, I need an answer now. As if say, well, no, then.
All you had to do was develop your pitch a bit further, being cognizant of this guy's concerns, and you might have had something. At very least, he might not have said an outright no, and he might have worked with you on it. I know he's supposed to be mad, but although there are mad people in life who do odd things, it always strikes me as fucking lazy in a film. It's just like, well,
it was the idea that he had to push him for the answer. I was like, why do you have to push him for an answer? You're speaking to the guy who you are supposedly obsessed with. You should be like following his every word. You'd be like, oh yes, of course.
Work in any company, and unless you're extremely senior, half the time you haven't met the chief executive or the owner. When you do, it's kind of a big deal. And I don't mean you should be in awe of them necessarily, but if he is immediately pushing them around, it's like, you waited for this for years. You probably would have this better planned in your head.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like the film would say, well, he's mental. Well, yes, he is. But it just strikes us like, what? Okay, that's just a bit...
But mental is always used as a defense when the plot doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, he's crazy.
Yeah, but he's crazy.
Yeah, but even like in terms of that, it's like, well, he besotted with him. He's like, it's and he walks away. He's like, you were supposed to understand. As if he's like,
I love it.
Sorry, Becca.
I love it. Oh god.
They're all painted much broader now.
I'll make you understand.
But even there's an extreme close-up on his face, and every muscle in his face must be doing something.
He uses all the muscles.
Calm it down,
even though there were muscles where you didn't know there were muscles.
Yeah, so anyway...
God almighty.
Bruce is called out because someone's called the bat signal, because Chase did. Bat
signal's not meant to be used like that.
Yeah, so I think this is like Dave's probably key chase scene, isn't it?
Oh, isn't she lovely? At this point, Nicole Kidman, at the time of filming this, would have been about 27, something like that. And yeah, she's just, I mean, it's wildly over the top. She's ridiculously oversexed and that, but just simply to look at, she's extraordinarily beautiful and elegant in this film.
She does bring an air of stylishness to this movie. I must say that.
It is ludicrous.
But she's plain and boring though. Like there's no emotion by any of the dialogue.
No, she's not great actually. And I think I may have started the show by being complimentary about her, but the more
they tried to build her up as like this kind of tough character. I mean, there's obviously a scene where she's kind of going or kind of making noises, and obviously thinks he's in trouble, and turns out she's just self-defense training, and it's like it doesn't really go anywhere with that.
Which is obvious. They haven't really disguised the sound effect. That just sounds like someone working out.
It sounds like going, oh, you know, or making sexy noises.
Yeah, it's basically Roger Moore behind there going, oh!
I'd like to do like an alternate dubbing of that where we have like just Roger going, oh!
Well, we all wear masks.
Eyebrow raise.
Yeah.
Roger Moore, the lost Batman we never got.
What I love about this
That'd
is
be
when he does go to meet her in her office, she's supposed to have just worked out, but there is not a fucking bead of sweat on her.
No, she doesn't see at all.
But yeah, the whole bat signal. Commissioner Gordon, who's reduced to running around in like his pajamas and a hat, rushes out. But yeah, she's just got Batman there 'cause she wants to see him. She's got her cleavage on display, but she uses the excuse that she's worked something out about Harvey, which is basically his duality, which is obvious because he's called Two-Face and there's two sides to him. So yeah, that's all kind of obvious and pointless and shit, to be honest.
Well, you know, you might as well sort of tell us in a TV segment later on.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, Ed is basically kills his boss by draining his brainwaves, basically taking his IQ or absorbing his IQ, so he kind of like knows exactly what he does. And then this gets to the bit where you kind of like start tailing off because it's like that's where the whole Big Gahuda line where he throws him out the window.
It just goes on for so long, and he pushes him out the window. Now I'm happy.
Well, he's there dancing while he's like doing it.
I know, it's just so like just you can do a scene without some of that, you know, just some of it. Just not every idea you have is gold. Just edit it in your mind. That'll do like 40% of it, and that might have been funny. I don't rule out that he could have been pretty good in this role, but it's just too much of everything. The other thing that makes me laugh is he pushes him out the window on a chair tied to it, and then he doctors the film that the guy just ran out the window. Which, all right, let's assume the technology exists to do that, but presumably when you find the body and it's tied to a chair, that might contradict your story a bit.
I mean, you would have to hope that like the chair broke away from the fall and all the rest of it, but that's assuming a bit, then, isn't it? But I did laugh at the security footage. Well, this proves it. It was like thinking, how the fuck did he manage that? Like, just manipulate video evidence.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't really work.
No.
But yeah, it's like you say, Dave. It's like he throws him out the window, and he not only surfs up Big Gahuda, but also makes like
judges, whatever.
Yeah, like sort of.
I hate this scene.
He might have settled for the bronze. Like, that's two jokes straight back to back, and then just sort of maniacally laughs.
But again, that's what I was saying earlier about Bruce Almighty, in that it's not whether these films are any good or irredeemable or whatever, but it's like you hire Jim Carrey and just go, do your shtick, and whatever he does...
They didn't do anything with him.
Yeah, but whatever you do goes in. Whatever he does goes in. You know, I don't know what he was doing on set. Maybe he did 10 times all of this. But it just seems that, like, whatever this twat says goes in the film. And Tommy Lee Jones said to him, I can't sanction your silliness or something like that.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones hated all this. And I can see why. It's not that it's silly. Humour by its nature is pretty silly most of the time. But this isn't fucking funny in the slightest. Not to me, anyway. I'm sure some people really enjoy it. But this is just... Am I supposed to be enjoying this? He's just shouting random crap.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of Tommy Jones, we get that TV footage of Batman at the trial when Two-Face gets the acid.
Well, when he must have just been sat in
the jury, just like.
I laughed my ass off at that. Well, first off, the idea that he must have just been sat in the gallery dressed as Batman, so he's just sat there, relaxed and listening to stuff. Secondly, the idea that he just had acid on him to throw, well, that's fine. But he threw it at Harvey Dent's face, and it's just so lazily shot that it clearly covers all of his face.
And somehow he ends
It
up with
just
just
does.
half of his face.
Well, he did hold it up, but you see it move and hit all of it.
Yeah, but what kind of confused me is like he's kind of like got half his face covered by the file, but yet the file looks like it's stained with blood.
Yeah, that's
So
weird,
that's
isn't
what kind of confuses me a little bit.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
you sort of shake your head and think, what,
Yeah, but
really?
you see the file move. It clearly covers most of his face,
Yeah.
not a perfect line down it. It's just
Well,
yeah, I
bad.
don't know.
And again, they can't fit it into the story or into organic dialogue. So
See, but it probably would have been better had it been like some sort of dialogue that would have like you just heard, like whether it be Batman to tell a story what happened. You would have like gone, oh well, I can buy that a lot more than actually seeing it. You think
rather than just watching it the same as us, and we've got no idea what characters make of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, especially now, we actually, when we're not even in the first Batman film, we have really no real grasp of what Harvey Dent was like before this. So we have no real understanding of
Plus,
where he is now.
Would you even remember that that's meant to be the same guy?
Yeah, true. But even then, there's just no there's nothing to sort of say to give you any idea of what this character actually is, other than like he's just mental and he's got a gimmick with a flipping coin.
Yeah.
He's got a gimmick of having like two sides to different things.
Which,
It's
with
like-
no backstory, is not a great gimmick.
Yeah. So Riddler leaves a riddle for Bruce at work. That was like the one for the clock, wasn't
They're
it?
crap as well.
Yeah. they're very easy clues to figure out. Like, literally, like, there's first thing clock. Yeah, they're pretty sort of straightforward. They're all,
Anyone would get them.
yeah. You think if you're going to do a Riddler film, probably like nowadays, you would have something a little bit more challenging. Oh my god, that'd be like kind of. That's a
Riddles
proper.
to make you think.
Yeah, that's a proper brain teaser. That.
Lazy.
Yeah, it's just lazy. So
Have we done the circus yet, and Dick and all the rest of it?
well,
Flying Graysons.
Well,
With the
basically,
son Richard.
well, basically, before that, we get Bruce has that meeting with Chase, where she's like beating up the bag, and then
Yeah, she's not sweaty at all.
yeah. They have a conversation about there being two sides and like conflicting identities, and he has to
The Malaysian Dream doll, which doesn't really go anywhere.
yeah. I mean, you kind of get this fact that it looks like Two-Face, the elements of the two sides. But,
Yeah, there's nothing to link them together though. It's
Yeah.
just a bit.
No, and he hands it back at the end. It was like, well, there's some good doctoring, men. Here's some doll that some people were superstitious to use. Thanks. Where'd you get your medical degree?
Yeah, exactly.
But you can see like the two different sides of that. Though you can see like, okay, well, there's two. That's Two-Face. That's also Batman with his two identities. Which one does he prefer to be? So yeah, we get like back to the circus, and we get introduction to the Flying Graysons. And then Two-Face sieges it with a big bomb. Then this was like another thing where I was thinking about to Batman Returns, and again, Bruce is actually put in a predicament. He's like, oh shit, Batman's got to show up, or someone's got to reveal the identity of Batman, and he does actually made a point.
What I love is the direction of the responses, because Two-Face, basically knocks out the ringmaster and goes out into the centre himself pretending to be the ringmaster. But the thing about rings is they're 360 degrees, and the camera's only pointed at the good side of his face. And when he turns around, the audience gasps. And I'm like, but half of them could see it anyway.
Yeah, I didn't get that. It's like one half could see one, and the other half could see it. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's the same later when the Flying Graysons fall to their death. They fall like hundreds of feet.
Yeah.
But Chase only gasps as they hit the floor.
Yeah.
Like it was hugely unexpected
Yeah.
during the time they were falling.
It's like, they might be okay, they might be okay. Oh, no, not okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not okay.
They might put on their anti-grav boots on the way down. They'll be alright. And,
yeah, so, I mean, there is, like...
but, in and of itself, it's
Yeah.
an okay...
Yeah, I mean, like, your Batman does go, oh shit, I'm in a predicament here, well, I have to give myself up, but no one hears him because everyone's, like, panicking and screaming, so he goes in there and actually tries to fight him as Bruce Wayne.
Which doesn't give anything away.
Yeah.
He screams for Batman, and suddenly this billionaire would be able to afford all the gadgets, runs over and fights like a boss.
It's the only person who's actually doing it as well.
No. That's the fact when he puts the cowl on, the cowl is Val Kilmer shape.
Yeah. So, but, the Graysons do get the bomb, and Robin takes it, or Dick Grayson takes the bomb and takes it outside, but they get shot by Two-Face.
One bit of the film that's actually reasonably tense, because it only just hits the water before it blows up.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that. There's that kind of like, oh shit, is it going to blow up before, just in time?
Yeah, and then he looks back in, and you can see Bruce looking up and thinking, my God, this poor man has lost his parents. That's just like me losing mine as a child.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's effectively told, this bit.
And Chris O'Donnell's pretty good, because he looks in and he's out of breath and there are tears in his eyes. He plays this quite well.
Yeah, what do you think of Chris O'Donnell? We haven't really
He's
said much
decent
about him.
in this, I think.
He's fine for what the film requires. I don't know that you should be casting Robin at that age. And Chris O'Donnell himself would have been about 23 when he filmed this, I think.
Yeah, he was quite young, wasn't he?
Yeah, but is he though? I mean, but Robin is normally a child.
Well, considering how old was he in sort of the original series? Was he kind of like a teenager or something?
Well, I mean, Robin is, as I say, normally a child.
So like 19, 18, you think, maybe?
Yeah, but even that's pushing it.
When you say a child, I tend to think of, like, if there are any sort of fans of Japanese games out there, they'll recognise Pressa Layton.
No, I
mean, kind of
the
other way. He's got like 10-year-old boy as a sidekick. It's like that's not kind of what I define. I would have thought he'd be around 16, 17.
But I don't think you can do it in live action film. I don't think it really works now.
Plus, it looks a bit dodge.
Yeah, exactly. So I can understand they've gone a bit older, but Chris O'Donnell is 23. That's a
23 is probably a bit too old, maybe. You're saying.
Yeah, well, we're giving it, oh my God, he's lost his parents. Well, losing your parents at any age is really painful, trust me. But he doesn't need fucking adopting at 23.
Yeah, there is that, I guess.
No, he's 23. Maybe he's playing younger.
No, he's not. He is, because he says to him, Dick Grayson college student, which means he's like 18, 19.
Yeah, so there we go.
So, I mean, he does play him as someone who is kind of gone off the way as like a little bit of a rebel. Well, I say a little bit of rebel. He is a complete rebel. He's completely reckless. But then that adds to the fact that he is someone who needs someone to be taken under the wing. He needs someone who needs guidance. Who would be, because like his first instinct as soon as he gets adopted by Bruce is, I want to kill Two-Face. Which
he actually says to Bruce, hang out at a lot of biker bars.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is the gayest it ever gets, because
apart from the earring.
Well, no, it's just that like. Val Kilmer spends a lot of scenes around a peak Nicole Kidman, if you like, in terms of she's gorgeous in this, and looks wooden and disinterested. And the only time he actually perks up a bit is when like Robin comes to live with him.
Yeah, we must remember his Top Gun training.
Top Man training. Yeah.
Top Men.
Top Men.
Entering the Batcave is something very different.
That takes on a whole different meaning.
Yeah, it's this is all okay. I think the scene's pretty well done. I mean, timing aside, it's not very well directed, because you literally have Nicole Kidman's head moving down as she's watching them fall through the air, and as they hit the floor, she gasps. And I'm thinking, there's no shock there. You've just watched 15 seconds of them falling. Exaggerating at 15 seconds, but you know what I mean. But the idea of like plucking a sort of lost bird, if you like. You know, the whole Robin thing. You know, the kind of a lost soul. It's not a bad idea in general, and you can't cast a child. I wish they'd gone a bit younger. I wish they'd cast like 16, 17, not 23 to play 18.
I don't know who they would have cast though. I can't remember who would be good at the time.
Leonardo DiCaprio turned it down.
Matt Damon also auditioned for the role.
I had no.
That would have been interesting had that gone on, you know.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
And then obviously
Matt Damon would have been even older. He would have been 25.
Sorry.
I know because there was a change in casting because originally this was going to be Michael Keaton as Batman. He read the script and ducked out. But on the anticipation it was going to be him, they cast Rene Russo as Chase Meridian. And when Michael Keaton dropped out to do more interesting parts, i.e. not written badly, they looked at William Baldwin, and then they went with Val Kilmer, and of course
Billy Baldwin is too ginger.
He's not ginger at all, William Baldwin.
No, not ginger. He's too like what's the word? Unusual looking. I just think he looks a bit strange.
Are you sure you got the right Baldwin?
No, I was thinking of somebody else. No, I was thinking of got him with his role. But no, he does. I think he's a bit of a weird and of the sheep. I think he just looks a bit weird.
Now William Baldwin was the one who was in Sliver.
Yeah, that's why he's a little bit like.
Then they decided to go younger, and they very nearly went with Ethan Hawke, which is quite interesting because Ethan Hawke's a little bit Christian Bale-like to look at. And then they went with Val Kilmer, and then they had to go a different way on because Rene Russo at this point was in her 40s.
Yeah, so
they were going to go with Rene Russo, and they ended up not, and it was Nicole Kidman and Val Kilmer. So there were various different permutations of how this would have gone. I mean, for Two-Face, for example, there was a contract in place for Billy D. Williams, but they changed their mind. What made me kind of disappointed when I read this, but it was Wikipedia, so I don't know if it's just the nuance of whoever wrote it. But Damon Wayans was going to play
Robin.
Was going to play Robin in the last film. He had a contract for this film, and the description was they decided to go with a white actor. And I just think, like, if that was your criteria, you're a bunch of pricks. But if you decide going a different route,
I guess like not being controversial, like we're like, oh, I don't want to sort of be too controversial here by changing the typical dynamic.
Whatever happened, they went with Chris O'Donnell. He's okay. I tend to think Chris O'Donnell in general is just bland.
Yeah.
He's okay. I think he's just bland, but he's kind of all right in this film. Again, it all gets coloured by next week when they're all given ludicrous dialogue and none of them are very good. This is not how I would have cast Robin. Now, don't ask me for a name because I've got no idea, but I wouldn't go with like 23-year-old male. It's just not the route I would have gone. I wouldn't have had Robin in it to start with. I fucking hate Robin. But if you're gonna do it, that's not that controversial, Becca.
No, I'm joking. Don't worry.
But it's not the way I would have gone anyway. But if you're gonna cast Robin, and they actually do his origin pretty well, this isn't the way I would have gone. But having gone this way, he's kind of all right in this.
Yeah, he's not too bad. I think he's kind of helped by. Michael Goff as well.
Helped by Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson lobbied hard to play the Riddler.
That could have been a very different film.
That would have been weird. Serves that big Huda.
I can't even imagine it.
You'll have the second for the prawns. In terms of Robin, I do think like the strongest scenes are involving him and Alfred. I think there's a really nice scene where he sort of explains the fact that why he wears the helmet of the Robin, and I think there's a sort of like a logic and mentality to Alfred, which is kind of like it's kind of like the guardian of Bruce, and he's kind of taken upon him to do the same for Robin and sort of teach Bruce that no, you need to kind of this guy was you not so long ago, you know, he needs your help. You need to kind of like, he needs guidance because he sees like darkness in him, so he needs to rein in. And there's this kind of like a lovely sort of warmth, sort of sense of encouragement. It's like, oh, the Robin will fly again, you know.
And you won't stop him. This guy is better under your tutelage, putting himself in harm's way, than we all say no, and he'll put himself in harm's way anyway.
Yeah. So he needs to learn your morals, rather, you know, and maybe, you know, you might probably need like someone to watch your back while you're out there. So there is like a good. I think that stuff is handled well, and as like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I think Alfred's probably the best part of this film. Sorry, bubbling there. Yeah, but Alfred is the best part of this film. Here we do go from there and have like Riddler deciding his name,
which I hate.
That's so cheesy.
Well, they might as well be sat. They might as well have put the
gamer guy. He was the gamester.
But
Gamester.
again,
No.
it's the way he has to manner his portrayal of every frigging line. In that Captain Kill is a terrible line, but delivered as Captain Kill is even worse.
What's even weird is like he's actually got like the Riddler there already. So like, why is he like
behind him?
It's like so who's the guy with all the passion?
Why didn't we just have a scene of the executives talking to the toy company? Because it would have been the same fucking thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Okay, how would you like it to be?
Yeah, just like sort of cut to an office meeting. So, like, who should Jim Carrey dress up as? I think we should go on the Riddler. Okay,
brilliant. Yeah. Make sure whenever he has a lair, he puts a lot of neon fucking question mark signs in it.
But even then, it's not even clear. That's like, okay, he's just like, he's got that puppet guy dressed as a Riddler pointing to a thing, and he's like, thank you. It's like, how's that telling he's a Riddler? I don't know who the name of whoever that thing is. So, why, you know, like, yeah, it's kind of crap. So, where do we go here? Do we go straight from that to Riddler introducing himself to Two-Face?
Do we? I don't know. Is this Two-Face at home?
What, when he's like, well, I guess so. It's his hideout, isn't it?
Isn't the whole point that he has a duality, that it's a split personality at war with itself? Would he really have an apartment split right down the middle with a woman dutifully waiting in fucking
with Drew Barrymore?
Drew Barrymore on one side and
both
the
of
other
them
on the other side.
Extraordinarily fit, with him drinking both drinks at the same time. And their meals are really funny because they've both done him a meal, and hers is all like white foods.
Yeah, souffle and angel cake.
And the other one is like a raw side of boar or something. Raw
or something like that. It's just like, what the hell?
And it's like, there's implication that he's actually going to eat both, and it's like, you're going to eat a whole pig and
and a whole boar and a whole what was it? Donkey.
Yeah,
donkey
that was it.
Like, donkey meat
like
or something.
Raw side of raw donkey meat, wasn't it?
Something like that.
What? She's cooked him a boar on a spit and a side of raw donkey meat. Like, where the fuck did the writers get that from?
Let's take this character to the extreme. So.
I know.
You wouldn't catch Lando Calrissian doing that.
Does he lie? Does he lie in the middle of a bed, the one half of which is really comfortable and the other half? Is this like Red Dwarf?
I was just thinking, yeah, you've got... Literally, there's a lot of this film that reminds me...
Do they shag half of his cock each?
I was thinking, how does that work? Because he's... Does that split down the middle as well?
I know. This is terrible.
A lot of this film does remind me of Red Dwarf, actually, because like the design on the kind of the bad side of his face does remind me a lot of when they get... when Lister gets space mumps, and it does look a little bit like that. It's all kind of the texture of it and just the design of it. It looks it gives me the heebie-jeebies actually. But yeah, there's a lot of Red Dwarf about this movie.
Is that one where he's made to eat a tarantula? That's the bit always like kind of makes you go. Ugh.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Is the only way I can verbalise that one.
And again,
Let's take the subject away from Two-Face's.
Well, he comes in and
waving his cane about,
and it's like, this is so you, but so you, and it's like, I fucking hate this. Please. During the film, I kept forgetting this was recorded like 2 decades ago. I kept thinking, like almost like it was live. I was like watching it, thinking, can someone shoot him? Can someone shoot him? Can someone strangle this prick? I don't wish him any harm. I really don't. But watching during the film, there was almost like an urge in me that like anything to stop this, get him off the screen. I'm not enjoying this. I don't like Two-Face either very much.
Yeah.
But
for me, he just overtakes the film, and if my main criticism of this, regardless of all the kind of the crap performances, it just that it doesn't need to be there. It's just like this extra thing that just overshadows everything.
And it doesn't matter whether the scene in question benefits from that shtick or not. It's just do your shtick.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
Well, you're going to have a lot more of it. So, yeah, he basically introduces his whole Enigma machine, which kind of like it's kind of sold as like an entertainment thing, like 3D TV. Like, and I'm not quite sure what the product actually is meant to do.
No, I don't think we're never really told.
It's just meant to be like kind of like, oh, it's sort of like a new interactive TV thing, but it really just sort of drains you. Well, I don't think it drains your blood cells in the fact that your brain cells that you don't actually have an IQ anymore, but it just kind of like does a copy of it and he just absorbs everyone's information. Because he basically wants all the power, or all the brain power. He wants to be like the smartest, in his words, smartest carbon-based life form. And
which does answer the question, because there is a plot hole that people point out, that they say, how did he fund this? And but he already says that it will get credit card numbers and all that.
Yeah.
As long as he can fund the prototype, he'll be able to fund constant expansion. The one scene I don't find him too irritating in is when he's at the ball. When he's black tie doing his sort of Bruce Wayne copy, he's actually okay in that scene.
I think that was quite a good scene.
Yeah, when they're out robbing together though, again it's just tone it fucking down, please. Particularly as policemen are just stood there waiting to get punched.
Yeah,
I love that. They just stand there waiting to get punched.
It doesn't help when Tommy Lee Jones is there hamming it up as well, going ha 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 as well. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, so is that the next scene anyway? The ball, because we do have he basically does the announcement thing where he's like, "There, I am selling my new product," blah blah blah, and yeah, he's there at his new launch thing. I don't know if I'm missing. I've skipped over a few things.
You might be missing the press conference where he talks about it, but I don't really give a shit.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just go over it here.
Yeah, spin on the film's crap. Carry on.
Yeah, spin on. Yep. So I mean, there's probably more sort of robbing stuff.
The bit where he does his fucking laundry.
Yes,
that is the natural precursor to the next film where he screams "Cowabunga." He's cool doing his extreme moves, isn't he?
Well, it's just to kind of show that this guy's got ability. He can fight, He can fight.
He can wring that t-shirt.
I was going to say that proves it. Getting your t-shirt onto the line and it's already part dried, you must be hard as shit.
What I love it, he finishes spinning his t-shirt on a mop, hooks it on a line, and
on his ankle,
and then just mops up all the excess water.
I know. And
it must be a more exciting way for him to show his skills rather than doing his laundry.
Yeah, he cleans up after himself, which could have. But doesn't he find the Batcave?
There is a scene where Alfred goes to go into the Batcave. Robin suspects something because that's a room he can't go in. He's at the top of the stairs in what is a mansion, so he thinks there's no danger, or Alfred doesn't anyway. But as the door is closing, it's the slowest closing door in the world. Robin does what feels like about 15 minutes of gymnastics to get down there and slides in the door, finds himself in the Batcave, and we see the rotating fucking disc the Batmobile's on with dry ice and spinning lights.
Yeah.
Because you need all that.
I mean, I think that's probably one of the film's funniest moments is that afterwards where Alfred is trying to tell Bruce while he's with Chase, and he's like, no, he's taken the car. What, the Jag? No.
The other car.
Other car.
What, the Bentley?
No, the other car. Damn it.
I know. I do often watch, when I watch this, I wonder what the view from Alfred's perspective must have been. It must have been all snot and double chin.
That used to be like an Alfred movie.
What, where he does some cooking and stuff.
Yeah.
It tells tales of Bruce
got
Wayne
super
horse
alive.
riding.
Ex-Benedict, starring Michael Gough.
He tells tales of horse riding and stuff.
Oh,
Potatoes.
awesome.
Anyway, so
In the R-rated version, the horses have sex. And he describes
yeah.
it.
So yeah, I don't get what his mentality is of like driving around in the Batmobile. Because he drives around into some neon urban area where gangs are dressed in neon paint.
Which is fucking awful.
So he's got his suit, alright?
It looks terrible. All of it. Don't like this Batmobile. The fin on the back looks so stupid. It looks like a kind of stylized version of a fucking skeletal Nike trainer or something with a massive fin on the back. It looks terrible.
Yeah, it does look very sort of like fan made, doesn't it?
Yeah. Awful.
So yeah, we get a fight scene, and then Batman comes in. So obviously the cat's out of the bag. Robin or Dick, whatever. He kind of like he's sort of like you let them die, which is kind of like, well, there's no animosity towards Batman at all previously, so I don't understand where that's coming from.
Because he knows it's Bruce now.
Yeah, I guess, but then like, well, what?
He's angry. He's shouting at Bruce. He's not shouting at Batman.
But yeah, and I guess, but it's just a little bit like, well, he was there fighting people. So yeah, but then that's over and done with because he said basically says well, if I would have died, I would have done. So if I would have died to save them, I would have done. So yeah, we get the ball thing, don't we? With the scene you like, where he's kind of like sort of mimicking Bruce Wayne with like sort of like, how's my mole?
Who cares?
Bruce goes into kind of stupidly into the computer. It's like, oh, is that thing unplugged? Drew Barrymore, who's clearly with the Riddler. Yeah, it is. Okay, then I'll go in. It's safe to go in now. Riddler turns it back on again while he's dancing with Chase and reads Batman's mind, which basically resembles just a big bat flying towards the camera.
That's all he thinks about all the
Just
time.
one giant bat all the time.
Would that necessarily be absolutely proof that he's Batman? If it was just like, it's just a bat.
He might
Bats on
just
brain.
have fallen into a Batcave at some point.
Or he just might have a real fascination with bats and wouldn't like.
What's the logical extension of this? If you read my mind and there's a memory of Michael Barrymore in there, I must have killed Stuart Lubbock. It's not evidence, is it?
No, it's just like kind of like, okay, well that's a bit interesting, but I guess it adds further evidence towards the fact that he just looks like him.
It was such a relief when I saw the Nolan version because I didn't see anything wrong with that until I saw the Nolan version, and it's like, well, in this version, it's like, well, I was scared, but only at first, or I was scared at first, but only at first, which is inelegantly written.
Yeah.
But like in the next one, he's immediately swamped by them, like a swarm of bats.
Yeah.
And you can see why that would terrify him. Just the sudden shock to his system and spike in heart rate, he'd struggle to get over that. But you got Val Kilmer like gently looking at this elegant bat. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I like in Returns how it's just casually just sort of put like bats scare me, my enemies will share my dread, and that kind of like, I find that explains it, and its way it's just done such like casual, kind of consistent kind of, okay, well that makes sense, that completely makes sense. But yeah, there's basically just a big flying bat. Echo. So what happens next? Two-Face, because he's crazy, decides to take over the the Do, even though like Riddler is kind of like, what are you doing? What's the point? Why are you doing this?
They're
like,
partners. This is mental.
Yeah. Well, it's, because like Two-Face has two sides to everything, so because he's crazy like that.
Yeah, but it's the fucking nut side that agreed to this. All right.
I don't know what side agreed to this, but anyway. So Batman sneaks off and comes in as Batman and fights a few people. Hence your interest was good, his was better.
Yeah, and Two-Face is drinking 2 drinks at the same time out of each side of his mouth.
Of course, he is.
They have got no idea about Two-Face beyond the most basic conception that there's 2 halves of him that are a bit different.
Yeah.
It's literally, drinking 2 drinks, eating 2 meals, smoking 2 cigarettes.
Fucking 2 women.
Yeah.
With half a cock per woman.
Yeah, but basically Two-Face just comes in and actually nearly kills Batman, but then Robin comes in and saves him thanks to Alfred with his...
Oh, they need to burn him to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like he sort of swings in and sort of grabs him before he falls. And then he's like, decides, right, well, I'm just giving up being Batman now because well, I can't be arsed. I kind of want to decide. I'm giving up the Batman identity for love, essentially, for Chase, I guess.
I get the impression he was going to... It played to me like he was going to get rid of the Batman identity to stop Dick, which makes no sense because the whole dialogue is, I say people I don't know anyway. It's like, well, we've missed the point. I mean, if Batman isn't just a friends and family scheme, is it?
I guess the whole point of what the film was saying was seeing having faced what Dick is going through. It sounds funny to say Dick, is kind of like, it's kind of a mirror image of him. So he's like thinking, no, well, I shouldn't be doing this either. So, and plus also, it's probably better for me to stop, to sort of decide to sort of stick to one personality, and also like. The film has got a vague idea in here about duality, but it doesn't play it well. Does Chase really love being a shot of Batman? So when he turns up as Batman, and we get that really fucking goofy grin, which is probably on the meme of it, that played the most mean part of this film, is the Batman with the grin. So we're probably just going to jump straight ahead, basically. So basically, Batman sides beat Batman. They're basically they come to Wayne Manor, Riddler and Two-Face, and they kidnap Chase, shoot Bruce in the head, skimmed him in the head, not actually kill him, and blow up the Batcave.
Which is another scene I hate.
Yeah, because he's overacting.
It's just too much of everything. And he won't shut up. And what makes me laugh, the irony of it is he goes into the Batcave, and it's intruder alert, and he goes, "Shut up!" And I'm thinking, that's good fucking advice.
Take your own advice.
Is your favourite bit the sound effects where he sort of like adjusts his crotch?
Diddle-a-did-did-doo.
Yeah. So yeah, he blows up.
I don't like any of this. I mean, a lot of it is, the director and everything else, and the way he's shot and staged all of it. And I know you don't hire somebody like Jim Carrey and completely rein them in. In a comedy, you wouldn't hire Robin Williams
this
to
is
do that.
Peak
But it's
Jim Carrey, isn't it?
But it is just every single instinct he has is acted upon. and it's just too much, and it feels so contrived. It's just tone it down just a bit, please. I'm just desperate for him to shut up every time he's on the screen, and it isn't just shut up. It's just stop moving so much. Everything's got a tick and an affectation and a funny walk, and it's just, you don't have to do all of this.
If fans of the show want to show appreciation, they can send Dave Jim Carrey box sets.
Yeah.
They make fine coasters, don't they, Dave?
Yeah. If you really want to pay tribute to Jim Carrey, get your kids vaccinated, because he's a twatty anti-vaxxer.
Oh, was that more his ex-wife, I should say.
Well, no, he was dating Jenny McCarthy, but he still bangs on about it. He's an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, is he? All right.
Which the funny thing is, I've always said I can separate the man from the art, and that's absolutely true, unless I already don't like them. And then it's just more evidence that they're fucking bellends. I hate this guy. I just wish I'm glad he's just not that popular anymore, because it was just a stain on cinema. Everything I watched him in, he was just awful. And this is probably the worst example I can think of, because, like I say, it's all at 150%.
What would be the next worst if you had to choose?
Next worst performance?
Yeah.
I don't know that he ever annoyed me in that much. I remember going to see the second Ace Ventura, but it was so silly and harmless fun. I wasn't that bothered by it, and the first one was kind of fun. Sometimes the general humor of the film and lightness of it kind of overcame my issues with him. The last time I watched him and just thought, this is purely a vehicle for his shtick, was Bruce Almighty. And it was the bit where he was in his car and parted, and he said, hi-ho away, or something like that. Whatever his line is, I just thought, this isn't fucking funny, and it is purely... the whole film is just a showcase for his shtick,
yeah.
which was tired a fucking decade ago.
It was meant to be his comeback, wasn't it?
And it did well. I mean, it got a sequel as a result. I mean, it did very well. I don't hate him in everything. I do like Dumb and Dumber. I do think that I do think that he's a pretty decent straight actor, very understated. And I think if you put him in something that's very light anyway and very silly, sometimes the film matches him and it feels a bit more appropriate. But in this film, which is incredibly tonally confused anyway, because this is the most pain we see Bruce Wayne in any of the first four, and the aspect ratio doesn't help either. This is 178 to 1, all of a flat screen TV, if you like. And there's a lot of close-ups to him in the last sort of 40 minutes of the film, and I'm just begging for the camera to go somewhere else and for him to just say less. That's all. It's not that you can't have him in this film, and it's not that it can't work. It just, everything is too much. It's almost like when your neighbours are making a fucking racket and you just want them to shut up so you can go to sleep. That's what this film does to me. It's just too much, and it needed a director with a bit more restraint. It needed a director with a track record of comedy. Actually, I do think if you'd had...
If they went full on just oh fuck it, it's a comedy now.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if you had a more conversant comedian with comedy, he'd have been too old by that point, but like a Carl Reiner, the guy who did The Jerk, the rest of it, I think he might have made... I think the end result might have been Jim's performance looking a bit more natural. It's almost this has been directed with someone with a complete tin ear for comedy, tin ear and tin eye, if you like, because he can't judge the visual humor either. And he's just gone, well, it's Jim. He knows what he's doing. He's a comedian, and whatever Jim does makes it on into the final film because he doesn't know any better. That's how it feels. It isn't all Jim Carrey's fault. Jim Carrey is doing what he's been hired to do, but there's just no restraint in it at all. And given I never found him that funny...
Maybe they never edited, like the extra, all the stuff in it. Like if it was like edited like a bit, and you just sort of took out a few of the things, that it would have been less troublesome for you. So, but because it's like, oh, it's Jim Carrey, well, everything he does is gold. Let's leave it all in. It's kind of like, oh, it's a bit too much.
That's what it is. I do think part of it's Jim Carrey, but at the end of the day, if I was an actor or a comedian or something and I was making a motion picture, I'd be very much judging a lot of it to my director and the editor. I mean, even on a smaller scale, something like this show, we say things that get cut out. For no other reason than...
You just throw out whatever it is and just
I'll throw it out, and if it doesn't work, I'll cut it. I don't actually cut that much. On average, listeners, just as a general rule of thumb, about 6 minutes is probably the average, what gets cut out of one of these shows. Sometimes it's as high as 15, but that's like a maximum. So most of it stays in, but because I edit it, I feel quite comfortable saying something because I know I can just take it out if it doesn't work. And I do think that it's not all Jim Carrey's fault for that reason. He's just pitched it, but nothing's been rejected.
Yeah, and he probably hasn't given the direction as well either to sort of say, can you just rein that little bit of dialogue in a little bit? Can you sort of say it but without manically laughing, or can you just sort of tone down the enthusiasm just a little bit, you know?
Yeah, that's just how I feel about it. I mean, Becca, you like Jim Carrey, but was there ever a sense when you watched this that you just thought, you know, this might be a bit much?
I watched all of it through my fingers.
So why were you gasping when I said he's crap in this video?
I was just making noises. No, I do. I mean, I do have to kind of separate. Like, for example, because I'm a big fan of The Who, and when Pete Townsend was accused of like being a pedo, I was like, no, ignore. But just, I mean, each case is different. But yeah, I kind of have to separate like the man from his art. And it did go a bit downhill for me when he was like, oh yeah, don't vaccinate. It's just like, you stupid idiot, you must vaccinate your children. And it's just, oh fuck's sake. So yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with his politics and all the rest of it.
It's the weird Hollywood thing. They get surrounded by people like just really weird.
Yeah, just very, very strange.
It's like,
considering
it's like Scientology, how that just
that was just strange.
Yeah. I don't know what
I might
it
go and
is.
see Tom Cruise in a new Mummy movie. We'll see what happens. You know, I'll go and see the next Mission Impossible movie that he does. So there it is.
Spoiler, Becca, it's
I'm
bad.
not bothered by any of these views unless I already dislike them. But I don't dislike this. I don't dislike him because of anti-vaxxing. I really don't. I don't care if I liked him. That would be fine. I like Tom Cruise in lots of stuff, and quite clearly he's got some odd ideas.
Yeah, it's just Hollywood weirdness.
I don't care. I really don't. And I mentioned it tonight just to be spiteful, to be honest with you. I don't care that he's an anti-vaxxer. I do, because these people have influence, because people think their weight must carry something. Because
it's a very dangerous argument as well.
It is a dangerous argument, and you know, big disease.
That's just my personal point of view.
It's not a personal point of view. It's good science, Becca. And you know, diseases are making a comeback because of these fucking idiots.
Yeah.
All because of a report that said about autism. Well, I'm sure if Charlie's listening to this, Charlie Brigden has an autistic child, and it's like, well, what you're saying, if anything is better than having an autistic child, is that an autistic child is worthless or lesser in some way, and I think that's fucking offensive. But my main problem with this film is just the fact that Jim Carrey needs a strong director who knows when to bleed his particular talents in. And in this film, they've just got someone who's just hired him and gone, do what you do. Do
what you do. No, definitely. I think they just, I mean, I do, you know, I do like some of his more kind of straight, more serious films as well. But like in the early days, you know, I love Ace Ventura, The Mask, all that shtick. But I think here we need certainly more Tommy Lee Jones and less Jim Carrey. I think we should probably have more Batman, because again, he's very, this just happens to be, yeah, it's the same as last week, really, same as Batman Returns. There's a lot going on. I mean, we've got like Riddler origin, we've got Two-Face origin, we've got Robin. Batman just happens to be there.
Do you know what? This film reminds me that, like, if Batman Returns had been the film it was, but every time Batman hadn't been on the screen, it had just been the scene of Penguin patting that woman's breast. That's what this film feels like. It just feels like when he's not on screen, we've just got this stuff that's just way too much. And we've been quite easy on Tommy Lee Jones tonight. But I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is... I don't know what character he's playing here.
He's playing zany.
Well, that's just it. There isn't really much to go on the fact that he's just acting wacky and there's no subtext to his character. I mean, for me, it's more down to how his character is drawn out and the decision they've gone to it. I mean, Tommy Jones is like, okay, fine, well... I think he only took the role because
his child.
His son is a Batman fan, and it was his favourite villain was Two-Face.
Very like Frank Langella in Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Skeletor.
Yeah, his son, I think it was son again in that case, was a big Masters of the Universe fan. So when he was offered it, it was like, oh, please do this. He wanted to see his dad. I think that's some of the reason Ben Affleck did
Batman.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Children who love Batman.
Which isn't a bad thing anyway, really. But I think it's more of a decision on where to take it. If you gave Tommy Lee Jones a better structured character, he would have fared a lot better, in doing this role. In fact, I can actually, thinking about it, I could probably see him doing like quite a decent Two-Face if you actually gave him something tangible to do.
Gave him some intention as to what the character's there to do.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But in terms of like the aspect of, well, you got the good Harvey, and you can probably conjure something like quite menacing as the bad Harvey. Depending on on how you want to draw that character out. I can imagine.
He can do scary,
Tommy,
and he can do very decent as well. So, actually, it's not the silliest casting in the world, is it? As an idea,
no, definitely not. I mean, he's done crazy roles before. He's in Under Siege, where he's like the wacky hippie terrorist. Yeah,
crappy Die Hard on a boat.
Steven Seagal.
Die Hard if it was like a 2.5-star film.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I can't. Yeah, Steven
and
Seagal.
The half a star is Erica Rileniak's tits.
You have got Gary Busey as well, so that's an extra star for me.
His tits are rubbish, Chris.
He does get him out in this film, that film as well, doesn't he? Yeah. So back to the film. Yeah. So basically, like the Batcave destroyed. Robin finally persuades. I mean, like, there's a line about who's your tailor, and it's like, well, so like just imagine like. Alfred
Mine's the guy in Washington.
That's the first thing I thought of, Becca, don't you know?
Mine's a guy in Washington. Oh, thank you, Felix.
Yeah, there was sewing machines sort of like putting together this like latex outfit.
Probably whoever designed, as I said earlier, like Sia or Gaga's outfits.
But the dialogue's so bad in this. Like in this scene particularly.
Oh no, boiling acid.
No. In this scene particularly, it's just like I guess 2 against 2 are better odds. Like it's like I guess like what makes us friends? No, partners. And it's just like really laboursome dialogue, really crap, and done really wouldn't like so like.
Wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
Sexual partners.
But what's really kind of like crappy is like they've done the whole origin of Robin, and he's completely fucking redundant when it comes to the bit where he's actually Robin.
I know.
Like he's in the boat.
Well, he does say "Holy rusted metal, Batman."
Well, he does.
Yeah, I think that's great.
But his boat gets blown.
He gets it blown up literally within like 5 seconds of doing it.
He should have just flown there with Bruce. Just dived out plane together.
Bruce gets shot down, but it's okay. He's got like a bat wing / bat boat, and then saves Robin, and they climb onto the Riddler's island. Because he's got an island. I don't think we mentioned it before. And yeah, he said that holy rusted metal Batman, and he's like, well, it's holy rusted.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, he delivers that fairly well because he actually delivers it very Ward-like to start.
Yeah.
with. Holy rusted metal, Batman.
I mean, I suppose
all right.
there is like humour in that, because you kind of think,
I don't mind that. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stuck it in a Nolan film, it would be too nodding and winking. But you could stick it in a fairly stylized Batman film that wasn't this goofy and still have it work.
yeah.
Just a little throwaway. It's okay.
Yeah, it starts levitating up. They get split up, and Robin does fight Harvey. That's his only thing. He does fight Two-Face, and he beats him. But then he saves him, because it's almost like he has a.
Yeah, he stands heroically first with his codpiece on display.
He does. He does.
Look at my cock. I'll
and
just save it now.
But how it kind of play? I mean, it's supposed to sort of play in a sort of sense that no, I will not kill you, and then sort of like I have won the eternal victory. But it just plays him as like kind of like really dumb and naive,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
and so,
you won't be any danger anymore. I've won a moral victory.
because like you watch it clearly, Two-Face is just like milking him, like literally going like, oh, sort of. Just let me die. You'll go to
I
hell.
think he actually says "good boy" or something when he.
Yeah, he goes,
Yeah,
oh,
he
good
does.
good boy. Sort of the bat has taught you well. Gullible or more sort of like or something like that. Naive, but no, sort of stupid, but yeah, something like that. But anyway, yeah. So he's caught. So the Batman meets Riddler and Two-Face, and they have both Chase and Robin. So I like how instantly the first intro to Robin, we get his whole origin, and now he's like second damsel in distress. He's damsel in distress number 2.
And the
Yeah,
other one's in
number
a
2.
skirt that's going to ride up when she drops out of the
Yeah.
thing, so there's no comparison. Which one are you going to pick? Well, Chase, obviously. I don't know this little twat. And she's fit.
I mean, I get the dynamic. The whole point is like, well,
I get what the film's trying to do, but I'm just about shallow enough that I don't see it as a difficult decision. Like, why would you choose Robin in that scenario?
well, it's like you could just sort of look at Robin and go like, well, you signed up for this, so
Unless you're very into Eiffel towering women and you need a partner.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of drink when you said that. So,
Spit it all over everything.
Yeah, there's always someone with a mouthful in that scenario. Other landmarks are available.
yeah. So yeah, I also like the whole Riddler.
Reenacting the Grand Canyon's really difficult and quite painful, though.
What's the Grand Canyon? Or should dare I ask?
Just don't. Just some bullshit.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, so again, it's the movie trope of like, well, how are we gonna sort of defeat the big device thing? I know, we'll just hit it.
Yeah.
So Batman says like another really obvious riddle that the answer is
All the
bat.
riddles of this are shite.
And he just throws a batarang at the because apparently he's in a new suit that has like this sort of like aiming.
Again, it's worse next week, but they changed suits to like make toys.
I guess, but in the context of the story, it's like, well, he just throws out this thing that big thing that's right in front of him. Why does he need the aiming thing? But anyway, yeah, destroys thing and that fucks up Riddler, and then they drop both Robin and Chase, and Batman saves them both as if it was like, well, it wasn't really a choice, really, he just saved them both, and then. Yeah, he kills Harvey with the throwing up the coins thing, and then Robin looks helplessly on as if say, oh well, I'm supposed to get satisfaction from that, from watching someone die. Which is always just a little bit of a... I don't understand, but... and then, yeah, we have the end of the film. We have Chase...
He tells him he'll be Batman forever.
Whatever, yo.
It's like in the first film where he says, I'll be Batman 1989.
Then he says, I'll be Batman Returns.
I'll be Batman Begins. I'll be the Dark Knight Rises. Yeah.
The next week he'll say, I'll be Batman and Robin. So you
Well,
get two for the
they
price of one.
actually do say the Dark Knight, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Don't show about Rises.
So, he goes to Arkham. He's clearly fucked in the head.
But by
Two-Face
Dr.
dead.
Burton as well. I don't know if that's a
It could have
reference to
actually been
Tim.
a cameo from Tim, couldn't it? Really.
It would have
Even
been,
though obviously he's named for Tim Burton. But...
it would have been better if it was Tim Burton, wouldn't it? If it's just Tim Burton.
Yeah,
What,
it
the
would've been
doctor at Arkham Asylum?
Yeah.
Did you not recognise him?
Yeah, it is him.
No, it's not Tim Burton. He was
No.
named Dr. Burton.
What? Do you know what that actor is best known for?
No.
He was Odo in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I thought he looked a bit weird. I thought, hold on a minute.
Rennie Auberjonois. Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
recognise that
Odo
face.
in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
The
There's a track-
shapeshifter.
a Trek connection.
I mean, he's known for lots of other things, but yeah, that's what our generation would know him best for.
And he's one character actor.
What makes me, what I don't understand here, right, is Arkham Asylum is a facility for the criminally insane, okay? So it's full of fucking nutcases, sorry to be non-PC, saying all sorts of fucking mental things, I'm sure. And yet they
Mainly about Batman.
they bleeped Dr. Meridian at fucking late in the night or something to say, he's saying he knows who Batman is. Would you bleep her for that?
I think, well,
At least it's
For-
revenge for misusing the bat signal.
from my point of view, I think it was just she was just checking up to see what he was saying. It's like, you know, and it's like, oh well, he's claiming he's Batman, so there's no fucking chance of anything remotely revealing that it's Bruce Wayne almost. Or he's got that far gone. Even if he said Bruce Wayne, everyone would be like, yeah, fucking whatever. It was yourself not long ago. So yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, by this point, the film is that dumb. You don't really need to concern yourself with shit like that. So yeah, and then they go outside, have a kiss, and then Batman and Robin run towards the screen. End
I like
credits.
that. That's kind of like a nice touch to the sort of no.
It would have been better if it was actually called Batman and Robin, because that would have made some logic. So
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if somewhere in the history of the making this film there was it was going to be called Batman and Robin, but somehow they decided to call it Batman Forever. I don't know if that happened or they just suddenly thought, no, we'll save that for next time.
But yeah, that's Batman Forever. Closing thoughts. It's
Still 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Yeah, I think that's a fair score. I mean, it's not boring. I never found it boring, but it's just not.
It's entertaining. There's a lot. It's a very busy film. There's a lot going on. It's pretty much wall to wall action, and it's kind of 2 hours thereabouts. I think it's probably one of the shortest.
It is
Live
2 hours,
action.
about 2:01 or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
in there somewhere with the credits. But it's one of the shortest live action Batman movies, certainly within the Warner Brothers canon. It keeps you entertained all the way through, regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, and Jim Carrey's not Dave's favourite actor.
No, isn't it? No. Oh.
I would be worried to meet somebody for whom he is their favourite actor.
Well, things though.
Even though I find him funny, I would say he's not my favourite. So.
If you did, it would be based on things like Eternal Sunshine and Truman Show. Really.
I have to admit, I'd be expecting to meet someone a bit slow. Yeah, there's somebody who goes to clap and they kind of only just manage to hit both hands together.
I'm sure there's loads of Jim Carrey fans out there.
Yeah, fans, but favourite? Really?
Or they're either or very very young.
So yeah, I mean, I think we said all we want to say about this film, but I just need some facts. I think I need to dig deeper in some knowledge.
I think it's the sort of film that requires almost academic interrogation.
Yes.
Fat facts.
Said with so much commitment and pizzazz. Bad facts.
Yeah, but no, I was wheeling around the internet trying to find some fun facts about this film. I found one actually that's probably quite fitting. Looking at the history of the Bat costume across the years, you'll see this one has fully realised nipples. and is anatomically correct.
You say fully realised nipples, but frankly, it's all areola from what I can tell.
We'll see more of Bat Clooney nipples next week, which I'm very much looking forward to. But yeah, Joel Schumacher's decision, according to IMDb.com, to put nipples and enlarged cock pieces on the Bat costumes, as well as making Robin wear an earring, was controversial. But apparently he claimed that all these kind of extra muscleage and nipples came from obviously all the kind of carved gods that you see from ancient Greece and Roman sculptures and things like that, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of them have got their dick hanging out. I mean, how far can you go?
Exactly. It's
how
like,
far do you
yeah,
want to go
whatever.
down this path?
Fact number 2, Jim Carrey had a small hand in designing his costumes, which I think is pretty cool. I think there was a rumour that he was going to have like a question mark shaved into his head, but obviously he was going through divorce and had to go into court, so couldn't really do that. Fact number 3, this film is contains a number of firsts. So it's first mention of Arkham Asylum in the live action series, first time we see Two-Face in the live action series, and also obviously, as you just said just now, the first mention of Dark Knight in the live action series. As far as I'm aware, anyway. Gossip Gertie is actually married to Bob Kane, is Mrs. Bob Kane, and obviously it's not really a fact, well it's kind of a fact, but obviously Michael Gough and Pat Engel are obviously the surviving members, well not surviving members, but the only 2 actors so far to carry on from their original roles in 2 previous films.
Because it's true.
Because it's a fun fact, but it's not a very fun fact, it's a very boring fact.
I'll tell you the one bit I forgot to praise, because it's really silly, but I found it really funny.
Really?
The bit where they're about to switch the bat signal off, and then Batman flies through on his plane, and Commissioner Gordon cheers, and Batman just turns his head and does a thumbs up. That's awesome. That is funny and really well done. Like,
we didn't mention the U2 song.
Oh God, yeah.
We haven't got to that yet.
Yeah, because that's the opening. That's the closing credits, isn't it? The EC song. Yeah, I mean, funny thing. This film got me into U2.
Oh really?
At a tender, yeah.
It got me into Nicole Kidman, if I'm honest.
If only.
Not literally. Mind you, that would have been a popular ticket deal. View cinemas this summer. If you buy a ticket.
Must be an expensive ticket, really. But
James Murphy's just come in his pants listening to this, you realise. Nowhere near me dated someone who looked exactly like her.
Oh. I apologize, James, for slacking off in the show. I just remember watching that film before you were sleeping a few years back, and I just thought
before you were sleeping.
Oh, I was like, well, why are you? It was that film where she's like can't remember stuff.
With was Colin
Firth, yeah, Mark Strong was in it as well.
Before I go to sleep.
He was really good.
Yeah, I just thought she was a really, really wooden in it, and I just thought.
You think?
Was there?
Read the book. The book is a lot better than the film.
Was there a performance of Nicole Kidman that I actually liked? And then I started sort of thinking I couldn't think of one. So yeah, there you are. That's what spawned that thing. But in terms of U2, I mean, obviously, I was like looking as a kid. I was looking forward to this film. So watching the YouTube video, just watching all the clips I could, kind of paved the way to actually listening to more of the stuff, and I kind of came like a fan after that. Not so much now. I'm not a fan of the new stuff now because it's bobbins. But yeah, generally since this kind of paved the way for my fanage. Yeah, regrettably, I probably lose.
Fanny for short.
I probably lose cool points for admitting that.
Would you like to repeat that, please?
This paved the way for Chris's Fanny.
I was like,
yeah, you need one to.
What did you just say?
Starring U2.
Yeah, you need one to be a fan of U2.
No, that's more Bon Jovi, isn't it? That's like a rock band for women.
That's a man's band.
No,
that Bon Jovi.
How many men's bands like fucking blow waves and shit?
I suppose. Well, I suppose that'd be Guns N' Roses, wouldn't it?
Yeah, at least Guns N' Roses had a little bit of balls in their music.
So, Batman Forever.
Yeah. Hold me, throw me, kiss me, kill me.
Indeed.
That's-
I should have
Apparently-
worked that into my introduction, really, shouldn't I?
Apparently, Joel Schumacher.
Look at that.
Apparently, Joel Schumacher wanted Bono to do a cameo as his.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like to pick on you, Chris, but what was his surname again there?
Bono.
No, the director of this film.
Joel Schumacher.
That came out nothing like Schumacher.
What did it say?
I don't know.
I have to rewind it and listen.
I'm gonna have to listen back on the edit because that was.
It's another
nothing
Edward
like
Snowden moment.
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was funny.
Joel Schumacher.
I feel like when you do a show like this that people are going to listen to, you feel bad when you crack a joke on Twitter or Facebook and you think, shit, I could have used that in the show. Because obviously we're doing Batman and Robin next. Edward Snowden would have been perfect. Can't crack that one now.
No.
Wasted it on
I
Facebook.
see. Maybe we can get Arnie on, and then hopefully he won't.
Yeah.
He won't die.
I reckon Arnie's probably the best thing in Batman and Robin.
I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen that film since
What? I mean,
since release.
I'm struggling for a highlight. It's not like I can go, well, they were really good.
No, but I imagine from the perspective that he's generally given it his all and wants to be there.
Oh, Arnie always wants to be there. I remember James Cameron saying that he was the hardest working actor he'd ever worked with. And he just said, say what you like about Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he never complains. He's always ready. Whatever degree of makeup or anything you want to put him through, he does it. If he's got to turn up in a certain shape or condition, he does it.
Yeah.
An extraordinarily professional man.
Yeah, professional through and through. That's the kind of image you generally get.
But he's nice to the little people as well. The morale amongst his cleaning staff is amazing. They really go to work with a spring in their step.
Oh, dear.
And the bonus they get.
So, that's for Batman Forever.
I'll be back.
We will be back.
We'll
we
be
just
back.
we just stole the last line. We could have gone. We will be back with Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but that doesn't fit the format of the show. But then I forgot that the whole thing about Schwarzenegger gives you that opportunity. Bollocks. Never mind.
Nice to see you. Yeah, you can do it, Chris. When you round out the show, you can do it.
But Becca, your Schwarzenegger is just saying, I still
see you.
Right, put it this way. We've not covered a Schwarzenegger film in this show yet. And you've now said, I still see you about 8 times.
Not 10 times.
In
With
fact,
your boots on your motorcycle.
you said it once when we were talking about something else and we weren't even talking to you. Me or Chris was in full flow and you suddenly went, I still see you. Because you were reading something on Google or IMDb or something.
Yeah, it was about Arnie, and I was like, oh, he was in that film.
I don't even know what that was. But yeah.
Yeah, it's an article about Arnie.
It was during one of the Rocky films or something. It was like, where did she get that from?
I think it was probably more McBain from The Simpsons, I think, because that's probably more where that sort of comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't remember if he actually says "Ice to see you." I think it's probably more a McBain type quote.
I don't know if he does say "Ice to see you." There are a lot of ice puns in that film.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. I think it is
there's
McBain.
that specific one. He does say "Let's kick some ice," which is really stretching it.
I'm gonna count them all. I'm gonna make a. I'm gonna
all the ice puns.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are loads of them. There's let's kick some ice. There's chill. There's it's left me cold. To your pleas of mercy. There's cool party. There's tonight a freeze is coming.
Oh God. Where can you find us on social media, folks?
Cinematronics on Twitter.
At the Pasty Kid on Twitter. At the Pasty Kid 1976 even.
And
You can find us.
RV movies for Becca.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't tend to tweet that much, but you can follow me there if you want to. We are at Expect Us to Talk. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in "Do you expect us to talk?" and you can find us there. YouTube also do the same, and also on the iTunes and Stitcher. Type in "Do you expect us to talk?" in the search box. And don't forget, with iTunes, give us a glowing 5-star review, pretty please, as it'll help us rank higher up the charts.
Upsy charts.
Up the charts. And if you want to drop us an email, you can email us at expectustotalk@gmail.com.
Yes, because a good review would be very nice. Ice of you.
Anyway, yes.
Oh, sorry, Becca. Sorry, I was just repeating the same joke you've been saying the past 7 episodes.
I still see you.
Honestly, that's now in double figures, and we haven't covered an Arnold Schwarzenegger film yet.
That's about to change, though.
Oh, dear.
Because, Becca!
Yes, Do You Expect to Talk will return with Batman and Robin.